We are Be Well Health and Wellness Consultants, and we're inviting you into our toughest and most honest conversations with each other.
We believe in honest, educated, science-based health promotion and that everyone should have access to this kind of information.
Tune in to hear our hearts for you as we uncover the not-so-pretty side of the health and wellness industry on the Healthy is Hard podcast. Hello, guys, and welcome to the second episode of the Healthy is Hard podcast. I'm Bailey.
I'm Tony.
And we are so excited that you are here with us today. Our topic is a very touchy one, and we are excited to flesh it out today. We are talking about staying in your lane. So today I want to open up with a question to you, Tony. I would like to know the maddest / most upset / most mind blown you have ever been when seeing something, like advice or something that is just straight up not correct.
In general, I would say, so if we're talking stay in your lane, let's go ahead and start with, let's say, your degree, your certification, or just your profession in general. I've had a lot of people, and let's speak from my own clients that I've had in the past. I've had them take nutritional advice, and I'm even talking down to your macros in your diet. And I've had that taken from people that have 0 degrees, 0 certification, and just because they look good. And I know we talked about that in the past, but people don't understand the importance of staying in your lane. If people want to come up to me and I'm a health and fitness professional and they want to say, hey, can you create a diet plan for me? Sure, I could. Anybody could, but am I going to? No. And like Bailey said in the past, somebody came up to me and said, I need a nutritionist. All right, cool. I'll give you a nutritionist, but I'm not a nutritionist. I'm a fitness professional. I also have health promotion on the side, but that's just sustaining a healthy lifestyle and trying to lose weight and stay healthy. I can't give you a diet so detailed to what your body is designed to. That's something that yourself is designed to do. I stick to the fitness things, you stick to the nutrition things. Doctors stick to prescribing what is wrong with your body. And if they need to prescribe you medicine, they will do that. People need to understand that professions study what they're there for. We don't manage every other part of the industry, right? Just because you go to a primary doctor, don't expect perfect nutritional or diet advice. They'll tell you, okay, go run, or go walk on the treadmill. Realistically, that's not the end goal. If you're overweight and they say just start walking,
right?
No, right? The right answer is, well, I don't have an exercise science background. Let me refer you to a fitness professional, and you can have a consult with them and talk to them. But I've had a lot of doctors that say, well, maybe you should stop doing this. Stop working out. Oh, you have a bad back. Maybe you should stop working out. From my point of view, when I hear that is stop working out because you're injured. No, you should alter your workouts to then rehab the muscle rather than push it to the limit.
Right.
I have a lot of people, because I have injuries myself. I have a herniated disc in my lower back. I have a torn labrum in my left shoulder. I have a chipped bone in my left patella. Like, I have injuries, and people are like, why do you keep going to the gym if you complain about getting hurt? And I go to the gym to stay stronger in those areas and try to keep those areas from doing that again. People think that if you just sit back and relax, it's going to heal everything. That's the complete opposite.
I want you all to hear what he just said. He has injuries. Like, those are things that kind of stick with you a lot of the time, and maybe one day will need surgery, but for right now, he's managing them and actually reversing some of that pain and issue that he was having through movement. And it blows my mind because I don't know a lot about the fitness side. And so I think that's crazy cool that you can do that. But I want you all to just listen and hear that because he knows what he's doing, because he is an educated professional in this specific field, he knows how to not only work around that, but continue to grow stronger and continue to achieve his goals with an injury, we'll take it broad spectrum, with any type of chronic illness, with a cold, with a flu, with anything. If you know what you're doing, you can continue and continually modify to meet your needs where you're at.
Mm-hmm. And I actually, to touch on that, so for example, my herniated disc, right? People that are just looking on the internet or have had it in the past think that when you herniate a disc, it will not heal unless you fuse your spine, get a cortisone shot to cure the pain, right? So when I herniated the disc, this was so bad, I couldn't even walk for an entire week. Now, I had no problems with my legs. It was my spine. My spine was so unstable that I couldn't even stand on my 2 feet. That's how bad this injury was. And I went to the doctor. What do you think the first thing they said was that they wanted me to do? Let me stick a needle through your back to your spine and inject a steroid into your spine to heal it. Well, me that cares very much about my body, and I don't like quick fixes because from my standpoint, I don't need a quick fix. I have the mindset of let me heal this the natural way and stay away from medication. I went to a physical therapist. She said? She was like, oh yeah, we can get you stronger and back to better than ever. I was like, that sounds better than getting a 8-inch needle stuck into my back.
Right.
And so I didn't know much about the spine. And my professor at the time for physiology, he's a spine physical therapist. And he showed me an exercise, and he had the spine model, and he showed me what your disc can do. So your disc is a gel-like ring in between each vertebrae. Mm-hmm. And when you bend over, that disc, it tends to like shoot out. If you're, say your spine bends, you can see that if you open up that capsule, that disc has the opportunity to spew out. Mm-hmm. Now, if you do extension, like an up dog or a cobra in yoga, you have the potential to absorb that disc back into your spine.
So I took the posture right now. Sit up straight in your chair.
Literally, I have a pillow on my lumbar spine right now. Uh-huh. And I was like, really, one exercise could do that. I literally every day for, I want to say 2 months, I did 2 sets of 10 reps each of just slowly pushing up into like a cobra position, exhaling, letting my hips sink into the ground, and pushing and extending that spine as much as possible to try and reabsorb that disc. I haven't had an issue with that area in a long time. I was waking up every day. I couldn't put my shoes on, couldn't put my socks on. I had somebody put my shoe on for me because I couldn't bend over. And look at me now. It's been a year since that injury, and I'm back to working out with no limits. Yet again, obviously, I'm still mentally scared to push things to the limit, which I probably will never do again because I'm smarter.
Right, I was going to say, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's just go to somebody that focuses in that area, not a professional that is there for the quick answer, because the quick answer is not sustainable. Yeah. People, and one more thing, any injury possible, you go to an orthopedic doctor, right, or a knee specialist or a spine specialist. The biggest thing is a cortisol shot. All right. Let me give you this quote. And if you want to write this down and remember this, a biochemical injection does not fix a biomechanical problem.
Ooh, that's good.
All right.
Say it again. Say it again.
A biochemical injection does not fix a biomechanical problem. So I have, let's say my dad, for example, he said a while ago, he got, or I don't know, probably years ago, his foot was always hurting, or his knees were always hurting. What did he do? He got the cortisone shot. That clears the problem as far as pain. But here's the bigger issue. Now that there's no pain, you have no idea what damage you're doing underneath that painkiller, right? Now, 10 years later, it's like, man, my knee is killing me. Yeah, because you were probably pain-free to the point where you were still doing the things that you shouldn't have been doing. And now look where that ended you up.
Right.
So don't always listen to somebody with the quick fix. Go to a professional that focuses and studies in that area of the field. All right. So that's my little word of advice for staying in your lane. And self-research is the biggest thing. The internet is such a huge place, but don't look on a normal website, a .com or like a .org, maybe a .org, but go to Google Scholar and find actual studies, actual researches from people that are spending $100,000 to go to school, and now this is their profession. So
right. I will tell you all, if you're listening, that Google Scholar is like, if you're getting research from the internet, that's the only acceptable place that you're like allowed to take research from. Okay. Yeah. So like, no more Wikipedia, no more healthline.com. I have a story about that one. No more, even, I know there's going to be some people that jump down my throat about this, but this is the point of this podcast. And so if you don't like it, move along. We are here to educate you, and if you have questions, we're more than happy to answer them. But these are facts that we're sharing. We are educated and versed in this field. So I once was a researcher and found out that the dietary guidelines for Americans was created by, take a guess, the profession that created this thing.
You said the dietary guideline?
The dietary guidelines for Americans that's put out like by the FDA, these big government.
Oh, no. I know exactly what you're talking about. The person that created that standard was the Kellogg's guy, right?
A politicians and lobbyists created this thing that we are told to go off of, okay? So I just want to let you know that while some parts of it are good, some parts of it I do use as a nutrition professional. However, it was not created by a nutrition professional or really anyone with nutrition education at all. And so I don't really use the dietary guidelines for Americans. I don't really use MyPlate.gov because it's not individual oriented. It is, how can we make money for these industries that pump a lot of money into the government? So be very, very, very careful and selective where you're getting your information from. I am not saying that you should not listen to the FDA or the CDC or that all these things are a big hoax. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that there are better ways. Again, there's more research out there that shows, MyPlate.gov was derived from the original food pyramid. You remember they had that hanging everywhere in middle school.
I was about to bring that up. Yeah.
The food pyramid, carbs are at the bottom, right? There's big portions for, dairy and cheese and all these like things. And then they were like, yeah, that's not really exactly good at all. That's not good advice.
But you know why though, right?
Tell me your sample.
So, the person that it's either the food pyramid or the MyPlate. You know how the plate has like your carbohydrates, your protein, your fats, and your grains, right?
And your dairy. Don't forget the dairy.
Dairy, yeah. The person that sorry. Like dairy is super important right now, but that's a whole different topic. The MyPlate was created by the guy who owns Kellogg's, literally a cereal brand. Now you're a nutritionist. Is cereal the most healthiest thing you could consume in your body for breakfast?
Yeah, definitely. There are some issues when you kind of really start to look at it, right? So, and it's not even that cereal is quote unquote bad for you. I don't ever call a food good or bad. If you want it, have some, okay? But have also some vegetables later in the day, move your body during the day, have some water, okay? We're looking at balance in the grand scheme of things. And these food pyramids, the MyPlate is not promoting balance. It's not promoting health. It's promoting a brand. It's promoting an industry. Like I said, it's not that cereal is bad for you. Maybe it's not the best choice, but when you're looking at Kellogg's, you're seeing the Lucky Charms, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which, by the way, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is my favorite cereal, and I will indulge in it every once in a while, okay? It's not that these foods are off limits, but you know these sugar-packed cereals are not the best thing that you can be waking up your metabolism with.
Well, the biggest issue is the advertisement. You'll see slap on the front of the cereal box, this is high in fiber and it can lower your cholesterol. Like what the Cheerios commercial, you see these, like, people are like, you eat this every morning and your cholesterol is going to go down. Like, no.
Friends, that's not how that works.
It's all advertisement, like you said.
Like I said in the last episode, you can, if you increase your consumption of grains, which is why they're allowed to make this claim, is that it's a decent serving of grains. So it can help to lower your cholesterol. But in order to do that, you also need to be eating lots of fiber through vegetables throughout the day. You need to be eating grains that aren't processed, your rice, your lentils, like these. It's not just the one, like you eat Cheerios and your cholesterol is going to come down.
Yeah.
It's very multidimensional. And also in those Cheerios, you have added sugars, you have added preservatives, you have all kinds of things. So sure, you can have cereal. I have cereal sometimes for breakfast. I'll have granola, but I'll make it at home so that I'm not getting all that extra junk. And it's really not that hard to do. I mean, honestly, the granola recipe I use is one of the easiest things I ever make. Okay, you just dump everything on a sheet tray. You put a little bit of honey, maple syrup, vegetable oil, whatever you want on it. Mix it up and put it in the oven for an hour and you forget about it. It's simple, but they don't tell you that these things are simple, and that's an easy way that you can take away some of those things that are hindering your health and start adding things back in that promote your health. Yeah. So if you're interested in that, I'll actually link that recipe in the show notes for this episode so you can have that healthy option. But just getting back to the point here, not everything is as it seems, okay? And that's why we talked about this in the last episode. You as a person have to care enough about your body to seek out and find the right information. And someone who's willing to say, hey, this was the right information last time we talked, but there's actually new studies coming out and this is what it says now. When that happens, one of two things will happen. Okay, so this research will come out and professionals will say, hey, like they'll do the responsible thing and contact their people or put it out on other platforms and say, hey, this is the new research. Maybe they won't come out straight up and say, I did a post on this a while ago and this actually directly counteracts that. But that doesn't matter. It's the fact that they're sharing the new information and being like, look, this is the new guideline that we're using. This is the new, what we know to be fact right now. So if you need more help on that, let me know and we can talk and I can show you and teach you how to read this research. Or they will see the research and say, that doesn't really line up with what I'm sharing. And so I'm just going to pretend like it doesn't exist. Two examples are the food pyramid / MyPlate thing. You guys, those are old. Like they're very dated. And I'm not going to get too much into it because we can do a whole extra episode on this, but they're not, in terms of as someone that does this every day and researches this and is educated on nutrition at all, and instead of politics, that they're just not, it's just not it, okay? That's the easiest way I can say it. It's not it. If you are really looking for health promotion, that's not what you need to be following. and they see the research come out, and they take it and kind of build it up. And then once they're ready to change it in the way that they want to change it, it doesn't matter if it's beneficial to you, it's the way they want to change it. Then they will come out and say, hey, so we found some new research and this is the new guideline. And it'll be very, very, very slightly changed from what the last one was. If you look at it, MyPlate and the food pyramid are not entirely that different. They just look different, so people think they're getting a better version. Another example of this is there's lots of things out there like this, but this is the most relevant one. It's one that actually is kind of very hot in the diet world right now. There's something called the FFactor Diet. And here's where we're going to transition back into the stay in your lane that we're very passionate about. But this diet was created by a dietitian. And that is what a lot of people are told, like, you have to go to a dietitian to get your nutrition advice. And most of the time that's true. But this poses a really severe issue because this diet plan was created by a dietitian, someone who does know better a little bit. And it's a 30-year-old diet. She wrote a book and gave out these recommendations. And it is basically fiber. You eat way, like, a lot too much of fiber. And of course you lose a lot of weight because, quite honestly, you're probably shitting your brains out all the time. It's just like sitting and thinking about it, it just is a lot. But like I said, this book came out 30 years ago, and to this day, she is still giving the same advice that was from this book. And I can tell you, even within the last year, science has changed a little bit in our field. We're learning, saturated fat has always been portrayed as this bad thing. You have to not eat saturated fat. Well, it's not as bad as we thought it was, but still shouldn't be consumed in the amounts that maybe people on the keto diet are consuming it.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to alter. You have to, if you're practicing responsibly. And this diet plan has not. Instead, they have come out with supplements. They've come out with powders and crackers and foods that you can buy to conform to this diet, instead of saying, hey, how about you just eat more veggies and maybe don't, this wasn't really the right thing. Let's kind of change that just a little bit to do this instead. It's not happening. And I didn't do that to call out this one diet because it's worse than any other, because it's not. All diets are the same. Most of them, I will tell you, again, this is another episode, but most of them are created with a good purpose. The ketogenic diet was created to cure epilepsy in infants and children, and it's really beneficial for that. But all of these things that were created for good have been taken way out of proportion and have put people in this mindset where you're not good enough if you don't look a certain way, and that's the end goal. And it just is such a struggle because there are so many people out there doing what they shouldn't be doing. This dietitian was focused on weight loss and how fiber affects the body. So she's probably working a lot with people that have, GI issues. She should have stuck to that one area of people, that one group, because there's plenty of people in that group to help. Let me just tell you right now that one person in that group is enough to focus on that one group.
Yeah.
And instead, she wrote this book and now has served 30 million people that didn't need to be on this plan. And there are actually people, this one is very hot right now, I will say, because there are people that are coming up that are like, hey, I'm actually having really serious health issues because of this.
Yeah.
And it will come to pass. That will happen with every diet, every single one. It just is so frustrating And I'm not a weight loss specialist. You can come to me and I will be able to help you lose weight, but my focus is always going to be on health promotion. And if you're overweight, I'm going to focus on reducing your risk of diabetes, of heart disease, of developing cancer, of all these things that are associated with obesity and overweight. I'm not focused on that weight initially, because focusing on the other side is going to get you that end result, but in a better way than a crash quick fix diet.
Longevity.
Someone else that's focused on, eating for brain health, or eating for irritable bowel syndrome, or eating for even Alzheimer's or heart disease or cystic fibrosis. These are all areas that are so specific, but we have to stay in those lanes, because I can't help you well enough if I'm focusing on all the things instead of just my thing. And people aren't respecting that in the field, and it makes me so angry. And instead of saying, hey, I am not the best person to help you with this, dietitians and nutritionists and even fitness professionals and people all across this industry have started attacking each other and attacking other people in the industry to make themselves look higher and mightier, instead of saying, they said this because, in hindsight, I maybe wasn't entirely correct on what I shared, but instead I'm just going to attack that person and point out their flaws so that you think that I'm the best and that you have to come to me and that they don't have any value to offer. And that's where I just get so turned off, because that's not right in a human sense, in my opinion. Just be a nice freaking person. And also, like, professionally, that just isn't, it's not helping people in the long run.
Here's and you'll appreciate this from a nutritional standpoint, the misinformation of what the word diet actually means. And
oh my gosh, yes.
If you go to a dietitian or a nutrition, here, actually, let me just say this, because we're talking about a diet, right? A keto diet, a Atkins diet, a high carb, low fat, whatever. People are making these diet plans in masses, when somebody like you or a nutritionist in general should speak to the client, give them a list of carbohydrates, fats, proteins. Hey, out of this food option, what do you like out of it? All right. And then the professional will dig from that and then customize the plan individually for that client. The word diet does not mean a specific diet that Joe Schmo is following that means you should follow. A diet is what you consume on a daily basis.
Dictionary definition here, people.
People do not understand that. It's what you consume. It's not what he consumes, what she consumes on the internet, that she's 5,000 miles away and, oh, she lost 5 pounds, I need to do it to lose 5 pounds. No, why don't you make healthy choices? Seek a professional that knows the foods that are good for weight loss, that are good for muscle gain, whatever, and then individualize it to yourself. Like I said, self-experiment. You can't just jump on the train and accept to get in, like, you think you're going to get to the same destination as the other person. That's not how it works.
Right. And just so you guys know, that is how we start with every single client, because the value of the individual is directly relational to the advice that you're getting. So if you are, like he said, just getting this meal plan that's been sent to thousands of people, or following these same, goal numbers for macronutrients that 8 billion other people are following, you can tell that the goal is not to help you. The goal is to help as many put that in quotes, as many people as possible, so that they can make as much money as possible, as opposed to, like Tony said, seeing a professional, a specialist, telling them what you like, what you don't like. That is where we always start, because that's the most important aspect of the whole thing. And if you want to write something down from this episode, just take away that the dictionary definition of diet, the word diet, is all the food that you consume in a day. Everything that you consume, food. And I think water might be included in there too.
Yeah.
But also, that doesn't include supplements. That doesn't include your magic coffee, shake, whatever. Doesn't include your magic pill. Your diet is what you're eating. If that is only mac and cheese and ice cream and cheese sticks, then that's your diet. Yeah. If it's a diet plan, then that's what it is. But that's something that I really touch on, is that using the word diet has totally taken over this industry and taken it to a very sick place, because it should be called a restrictive eating plan, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's the goal of it, is to restrict you from what you want, to make you think that it's not going to help you reach your goals. I just want to tell you all that I eat goldfish every single day. Goldfish crackers, the snack that smiles back, okay? And to be quite honest, my professor in college told me that so does she. And honestly, it's a pretty decent snack, okay? That's why I eat it. But also, I love goldfish. I also love mac and cheese and ice cream, and I'll have those every once in a while. It's not about being perfect. And if someone makes you think that it is, you're not working with the right person, and that person is really not in their lane, because they should not be giving that advice in the first place, because if they knew any better, they would not, because it's not ethical.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it all comes down to.
And then the same thing can go to, rather than prescribing a diet on your side, it can go the same way for me prescribing an exercise program. Right. I have a pre-made program. I literally just called it Fast 30. If you literally just are looking for an exercise program to get you moving in the gym and to burn some calories, boom, I have a great program, just like any other online trainer has. But that's not my goal, because how do I know that if client Jimmy and client John have the same squat? How do I know their hips are the same mobility level? You know what I'm saying? John could have a more hip mobility and a deeper squat, which means his muscles can move more efficiently. Whereas Jimmy can only get to 90 degrees and he has restriction in mobility. Therefore, his muscles are not working to his fullest potential. People don't understand that your mobility can create a massive muscle gain. So why am I giving them the same program and they're not making the same results? There's little detail in everything, whether it's a diet or an exercise program, that's going to get you that end result that you're looking for. Your goal is the priority.
Right.
That's the thing. Goal is priority.
It should be. It should be. That's the way that it should be. I don't think that that's the way that it is right now, but it should be. And this is kind of where I want to leave you all today. You've heard each of us give you examples from each of our fields, and we don't really like to cross that line. Not because we work with each other and want whatever. It's because we value our own knowledge and education enough to say, this is the limits of what I can share with you, and now you need to go talk to someone else.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that's not happening. I see nutrition professionals prescribing exercise plans. I see more than ever fitness professionals prescribing nutrition plans, which, again, unless you went and studied that specifically, as a nutrition professional, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say you don't know enough. You don't know enough to be sharing that information, especially for someone that's coming to you for a specific concern. The biggest issue I have is the influencer side of this, because you see these people that sell the supplements, they sell the workouts that are part of this bigger company, and because the company says that they can market themselves as a wellness advocate or a wellness expert or a health coach. Don't get me started on health coaches. Do you guys want to know what a health coach certification looks like? It doesn't. There's no such thing. There is no such thing. You can be a health coach if you call yourself a health coach. That's all. There's nobody that's going to come after you. Now, if I go out and say that I'm a registered dietitian, someone's going to come after me and say, no, you're not. You're not allowed to do that, because I'm not. I didn't do the master's degree. I didn't do the hospital rotations, because that's not where I want to be. I don't want to be in the clinical side. I want to be on the research side. I want to be on the DNA changing organ anatomy side. That's not what I want. And so that's why I differentiate myself even from a nutritionist, because I think that what I do and what I care about is very different. And I think us valuing that specialty that we have is so important and gives us all that much more power. So people that are selling a product should not, under any circumstances, and I truly do apologize if you feel attacked by this episode. That's not my intention, but I need you to understand that you can potentially be causing serious harm if you are providing advice that you don't know to be truth. I mean, that's really just the flat and honest answer of it. And I don't know. I could really get deep on it and go into it, but I feel like maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah. I can end it with something for you guys as the listeners to leave this podcast and think. So the topic is stay in your lane. And we're not talking about us staying in our professional lane. You as the client, you as the human being with a goal, need to stay in that lane. Here's a little analogy I'm going to leave you with. Us as the professionals, we are your GPS, but you're the person driving the car. You're not going to get there unless you do the work. We have the expertise and the knowledge and how to guide you, but at the end of the day, you're the one that has to get to your destination. So if you don't have that drive and that motivation, that's something you need to sit there and think about. We have our place in our spot in the industry, but at the end of the day, you're living your life and you came to us for a reason. So why are you going to use the GPS if you know how to get there? That's what we're here for. So use the GPS to get you where you need to go, but don't forget that the GPS doesn't drive the car.
Oh, so good. You have to press the gas. That is so good. Oh, that's so good. So thanks, Tony. That was a really good way to close out this episode. Again, if you all have any questions at all, please reach out to us. We want to talk more to you on these topics. We want to inspire conversation and really just get those gears turning for you to know that it's your responsibility. And if you're ready to take that, we're here to help. And that's just the end goal. So thanks for joining us today, guys. It was such an honor to be here and kind of share this very honest and raw conversation. We appreciate your time and being able to just share your space. And we will see you next time. If you have any topics you'd like for us to get on, let us know, drop it in the comments, and check out the show notes again for that homemade sugar-free granola recipe. We will see you next time. It was our greatest honor to take up space in your world today. Please share this episode to your social media pages and tag us at BeWellHWC. Cheers to you, friend, for choosing better for yourself starting today. It won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. Subscribe to the show and learn how to make healthy less hard, one tip at a time.